Highway 49 West. This is the highway we always took from Ruleville when we were bringing people down here to register to vote. It was my desire for the summer of '64 to register voters in every little community and town in this county. There's a town coming up called Sunflower, where Miss Annie Mae King lived. Annie Mae King was one of the local citizens who were involved in the freedom movement with us. And during the summer of '64, she housed Freedom Summer workers who came to Sunflower County to help us register to vote in this town. That house was right in here. It's where her house stood. You can see where the gas line still was. It was right out there. And she was a very nice lady. Real good cook. I always had some good potato pie and everything. The guys stopped by here and eat some collard greens and sweet potatoes. And you know, it was just, if there's such thing as good old days, even though the conditions were bad, those were some of the good old days. Yeah. Our house was firebombed. The house just all of a sudden burns, and we never knew why. In fact, by the time the house burned down, most of the volunteers were moving out and going back home to finish their education. Mrs. King played a very significant role in helping us get started in the county. Now we are off to Ruleville. Fannie Lou Hamer was a sharecropper who left the plantation in 1962 to register to vote, and she was asked to withdraw her application or leave the plantation, and of course she left. She worked hard to get voting rights, and she was our champion for civil rights and human rights. We're walking from William Chapel down to Lafayette Street here. This is Fannie Lou Hamer's first house after she was kicked off of the plantation. It is the first place that Freedom Summer volunteers came to when they came to Sunflower County. Right here, this tree, Fannie Lou Hamer had several benches, long benches right here, and desk and long tables out there where people would come and sit down. The Freedom Summer project operated from right here prior to us spreading out into the rest of the county. The house was located about here, the front porch of the house. The volunteers would come in the morning, and Fannie Lou Hamer would be standing out here having her cup of coffee or drinking some cold ice water, because she got up early in the morning, she and her family. They were used to that because they had grown up on the plantation. She would have got up and cooked breakfast. She may have been working in a garden or anything, and the volunteers would come in and come here to be around Fannie Lou Hamer. She was a symbol of freedom. A kid wrote a paper on a project we had, and he said in that paper, he said that every time a black person casts a vote, Fannie Lou Hamer is alive. So, yeah. She's probably somewhere now, up there, looking down here. And I wouldn't be surprised if she might say, Mac, good work. This is the first time I ever really looked up at that tree, because I always just visualized it right there. You know, just that level, the first level of limbs to the ground. But it's very tall. Well, we're in Drew, Mississippi, Sunflower County, Mississippi, just north of Ruleville, Mississippi. And the summer of '64, I brought a crew of the Freedom Summer volunteers to this community to canvass, to register, for registered voters. And we were asked to leave, and we did not leave, and we were arrested and locked up for the night. This is the black area down here. It was down in that area that we were arrested and then brought here and placed in this little little jail here. I brought a group of the young people up here in order to focus some attention on this community as we knocked on doors. The police in the trucks and cars drove around to intimidate the blacks who we was trying to talk to about registering and voting. I wanted to challenge the fear that people had of this community. It was significant to me to get in here, and we did get in here. And we also got in jail, got in this jail. And today, this is one of our landmarks of the civil rights movement in summer of '64. Hopefully we can get a historic marker here and get the city of Drew to preserve this. I think if you start with this and then you trace back, you go back to how the slave system evolved from chattel slaves to mental slaves, and this jail represents that whole era and mentality. We don't need to forget it. And we don't need to really just stay back here lingering in it, but remember it, move forward.